Hello, hello, hello. Subtitles working. We're on. Hi everyone. Hello, my name is Fiona. I use she, her pronouns, and this is Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs, in which I spend an hour or two looking for an RPG of that's caught my eye, of a choice. Whether it's from the Bookcase of Doom, as I look over it over there, it's ominously going, "You've not been streaming," or the Google Drive of Mystery. I hope you're all doing really well today, my friends. It's so good to see you. Hello, Hogan. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I keep seeing you're streaming your cats whilst you're at work and stuff like that, and it's always when I'm just about to go out and stuff. So I've made a note when you're streaming, so hopefully we'll catch one of those soon because I really like that idea. Let's see, Kieran. Hello, Kieran. How are you doing, my friend? Glad to have you here as well. So welcome back to Too Long Didn't Read Tabletop RPGs, friends. I appreciate it's been a little while. I think I promised last Tuesday, last Monday that we'd do something, and I've definitely been postponing this particular stream for a little while. And ultimately, it is just down to my own doing because you might have seen I've done some stuff over at Euphoria, the sort of actual play for UK and TTRPG stuff. We're in the middle of a summer of sci-fi just now, which is great. I mean, I'm just gonna do the whole. Actually, I should probably put the. I've got a not a hashtag. What they call? I've got a thing for that. Euphoria. No, that's not it. No, that's not it at all. Ignore me. Ignore me. It's Summer of Sci-Fi. There you go. That should have the. You can get the Rascal sort of bio, and you can go and look at stuff. I've done some solo actual plays for them. On Tuesday, I ran. What was it called? One Breath Left, which was good. I worked overtime, so there's 13-hour cat stream whilst I was at work today. Oh, what amazing! Well, I'll definitely be putting that on the background when I get to do some work later today. Very nice, awesome. So yes, we're doing stuff like Euphoria, and one of the things was last week I had to drop everything because I had to put subtitles on one of the videos, which is great. Obviously, all here for accessibility and stuff. Oh, hello, friend. How you doing? Yes, rats. I can see that. Yeah, so we'll get onto that in a second. And then and so the subtitle thing. And let me tell you, I very much appreciate how difficult it is to not only get subtitles, to get them accurate with punctuation and all that sort of thing, and then to put them on a video. It took me 3 days to do, but that's mostly because my own video was 3 hours and 45 minutes long. So that taught me a lot of it. It was very educational, but it meant I had to drop everything as a result. And then this week I was just busy, so I just put it back. And it also gave me time to look through some other RPG games. I was like, oh, we'll put them up for stream. So I was setting those stuff up as well. But before again, I want to share some exciting news. In the nicest way. I got some free stuff. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but I'm definitely going to check it out on stream at some point. I got this in the post yesterday with no note whatsoever, so I assume it is like free and whatever. But I got Captain, Oh Captain, My Captain, which is a quick play fantasy RPG, which is like cards, etc. And I had a quick look for it. It's by James D'Amato, who we've talked about certainly on the podcast before. They are the one behind One Shot Podcast. We used to be the host of One Shot Podcast, but the One Podcast Network. One Shot Podcast Network. There we go. And they do lots of things, and they wrote quite a few of the books of Ultimate RPG book, blah 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 blah. So this, I believe, is their new RPG game that's come out, which is very exciting. So what I thought I would do, maybe next week, I maybe shuffle things around, but I have like a stand I could put my phone on, so I might be able to just like show you what I see like that rather than hold up to the screen. So that's very exciting. And I also got this book, which is the Dungeon Meister's Guide to RPG Trivia. So basically, it's a way to do like quizzes, I think. I will say the questions are very difficult. I was reading through going, I would never get these, so maybe at some point I'll see if I can do a collab or something like that. Maybe we can do like a pub quiz stream. That'd be fun. But I just thought I'd show you that. So I'm going up in the world. I'm influencer me. #blessed. #ad, etc. But yeah, I just thought that was quite interesting. But yeah, no note, no nothing. It was in a massive box, and of course, as you've seen, they're quite small. So I was like, oh dear, I'll make a note of that and say, hey, maybe put it in smaller boxes. But yeah, I hope everyone is doing well. I was going to say well, thanks. I hope you're all doing well in your neck of the woods. I'm doing okay, thank you. I've had a good week so far. Got bits and pieces to be getting on with. Got some editing done over the last couple of days. Got another episode of DM's Book Club come out, all that sort of thing. And yeah, things feel a little bit less stressful than they were last week when I was like, oh god, I need to learn how to do subtitling. Anyway, enough of that, friends. Let's get straight into today's RPG. So today, friends, we are looking at something called Rats with a Z. And I didn't even do my normal thing. I am so sorry. Here's where you can get it, as the Nightbot should help us out there. So Rats, it says with a Z. Clearly, I corrected it. So Rats, a game of Furry Fury. Now, let's start at the top of the stream. I have no idea what this game is. What I can tell you is that it is 282 pages long. We're not going to look through all of it. We're going to spend the next hour and a little bit going through and seeing what we like about it, what, if anything, we can improve about it, and anything in terms of accessibility. It looks like it was added to this particular catalogue in 2023, so it's fairly recent in considering some of the other RPGs that we've looked through. Woo! Hello, Dead Toothbrush. How are you doing, my friend? I keep seeing you're streaming late at night. I'm like, what are you doing? It's always at times when I'm out doing stuff, so I keep seeing you stream, Dan, and I'm really intrigued what you're up to. I hope you're doing well, friend. Hope you're not staying up too late. But yes, we're looking at this game today, Rats, and so I was just going to say, so I'm not sponsored by them. I'll be honest, I believe the publisher is called Murderous Rat. I think that this might be their only game. They don't have a website that I could find or anything about it, but again, not so fussed about that. But as always, not sponsored by them to look at it or anything like that. I'm also not a game designer. I like looking through RPGs that interest me and see what, if anything, could be improved. And it's all critique rather than criticism. So we're just having a look at that today. And finally, content warnings. From what I understood from the brief, looking at it, rats take over the world. I'm just a night owl. I've not had much work. Oh, fair enough, Dan. Well, I'm just making sure you're okay. But I was like, surely it's 4 a.m. when you're streaming. I was like, oh no. I feel like by now you would make a brilliant book. Oh, that's very kind of you. The problem is I don't have any good ideas. I use other people's ideas. Anytime you make up an original scenario for an RPG, I go, and I go away for 2 weeks and I come back and I have a little post-it note that says Boblin the Goblin ? And that's it. But I do need to work. I know we talked about it. I do need to work on some nighttime DM scripts because I've got some time coming up. So I was going to sit down and do some writing and let you know on that one if you're still interested. So let's go straight in. Sorry, that was the final thing. Content warnings. I'm not entirely sure what this RPG is about. I think it's about the uprising of rats taking over the world. I'm sold. Boblin the Goblin, let's go. But yeah, so I don't know about. Yes, that'd be rad. Very interested. All right. It's on the list, Dan. You and I both have post-it notes and to-do lists. Consider it on the list. So I don't know in terms of what this is going to entail. As I said, this is almost 280 pages worth. We're not going to look through it all, and we might skip some bits. But if you're like, I'm not so sure about this, just take a moment, step back from the stream. I'll be upside. Anyway, I'll keep quiet and hear about some rats. All right, well, you've heard it from the boss. We're going to get away from Big Fiona screen, and we'll go over to Drive for RPG to look at the things. So this is what it looks like in terms of, whoa, God, that was a much bigger cover than I expected. So this is the cover of the RPG, Rats. What I like about it, again, I'm a big fan of covers. Oh, so I should say, what we do at the start of every stream, we look at the cover, we look at the marketing copy, and then we go into the RPG itself. Because obviously, a lot of the times when we're looking at RPGs, unfortunately, we do look at the cover and we do look at the copy to be like, oh, so why should we buy this game? And it's one of the things that are hard to, I think it's very hard to do. Hogan says, I'm sold on the idea so far. Excellent. Well, to be fair, you've got lots of cats, Hogan, so I can imagine they'll be up for this as well. But I really like it. I love. I don't know if it comes through on the overlay. Look at the texture of this book. So it feels like one of those old. It's not woven books. What am I talking about? But like a hardback book that's got that texture to it, and then you have all of this sort of writing. A very good, again, not too pixelated. This is quite a good, I think. And then this font style is pretty good. Quite eye-catching, I think. The only thing I'd say is there's no publisher once again on the thing. It's okay. I know it's in the cover, but again, is that something where if you saw this, would you think this is an RPG? That's the thing. We've got the tagline Rats. Was it Rats? A game of Furry Fury? Yeah, I think you need that somewhere here, even though if it breaks the immersion. Otherwise, I'm like, is this a children's book? Is this? Kill all humans, break the cage, pizza, all good things. I agree. It feels cloth bound, says Kieran. Yes, that is a great way to describe it as well. And also, I think the other thing you could do with this sort of cover, again, I appreciate this is just an image looking at it now, but you could easily translate this cover into other languages and have someone go through, like, you know, and put like different, like, it feels very something that's, I say, simple to do. I don't know if it is, but like changing the language of it to sort of fit which region you're from would be really interesting. So you can get it through Drive-Thru RPG. You can also get a hardcover, a premium book color, so it probably wouldn't be cloth bound, unfortunately. And yeah, so let's read through. Hopefully you guys can see this. So it says, God is a rat, and in the image of rat he has created them, male and female, to be fruitful and multiply. He has given them minds to know wisdom, paws to record truth, and mouths to teach religion. But then the humans came along and screwed it all up. Now it's up to you to unscrew it. But you're not going to do it, are you, you furry little murder hobo? No, you're going to screw it even further. Incredible. Look at that incredible image as well. That must be a rat, right? Hang on, let me open it in a new image. Maybe we can... Nope, can't zoom in. I think that must be a little rat of some sort. It does look like a cat to me. Oh dear, oh dear. So Rats is a satirical RPG chronicling the Rats' awakening and subsequent holy war against humans, cats, dogs, snakes, owls, rat heretics, rat apostates, rats that are just plain annoying, inanimate objects, and rats that are probably okay but still worth XP. This book contains everything you need to know to design and run ratty adventures in a world that just plain hates you. In addition to a lot of character options, it's also full of traps, monsters, locations, lore, and includes a starting adventure for new characters. How interesting. Okay. It uses a unique D6-based system called Mutations and Mutilations. Ooh, I'm not entirely sure of that system name. What is that? Which foregoes hit points in favour of a huge number of exciting... Is that mutilations? Yeah, mutilations, which you gather as you go through life. However, fear not, for as you are mutilated, you also mutate. For as the old saying goes, which does not kill us makes us stronger. Which makes us stranger. Okay, I like that quote. Again, I know what they're doing. They're trying to do like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing there, aren't they? I don't know if I would call mutilations and mutations, because they are quite loaded words, personally. Rats contains 5 races, no pun intended, 17 starting cultures and with unique abilities, 36 habitats, almost 200 tricks and teachings, and over 800 mutations and mutilations. No two characters are going to be the same, even if you wanted them to be. It's fast, it's simple, it's brutal, it makes no sense. Just like the life of a rat holy warrior. Incredible. And then this incredibly weird image, I'm going to be honest, of presumably like a mutated rat or a mouse of some sort, like white skin with, I'm going to say it, tentacles. Yes, interesting. Still worth XP, lol. I like the humour so far. Yeah, you know what? Already you can, again, I'm always a big fan of this, where you can get the humour going through. And again, I wonder if this book is going to be written as if talking to player rats, or if it's talking to people. So far it's good. Sometimes I find the tone of these sort of games, when they are a bit crude or a bit too gun-ho on the swears, I go, how can I, I'm like, I appreciate this, but how am I going to introduce that to somebody who is brand new to role-playing games, etc.? This, I feel like it's good. Like, I like that idea of, rats that are just plain annoying, but rats are probably okay, but still are worth XP. Because I think that gets the humour of it right. Just joined. Hello, Hatchling. Hope you're doing well. The image looks slightly AI generated. I hope I'm wrong. Well, possibly. I don't know. That's a good shout, though. I don't think so, because this, well, I don't know. It came out 14th of July, 14th of February last year. Was AI around that? Was it that big last year? It could be. So you're possibly right on that front. It doesn't say it anywhere here, but we'll have a look on the inside of the cover, because that's where the credits are going to be as well. And certainly this, I will say, I love the cover for sure. I'm not so sure about this particular art style personally, but again, happy to prove them wrong. But okay, let's just get straight into it, shall we? She says, getting rid of crow, rats. So yeah, as I said, got the got the cover there. Unfortunately, friends, as we guessed it, no alt text, which is a shame because if people watched the One Breath Left stream we did the other day, I rediscovered the alt text for One Breath Left midstream, and I got very excited, and only I could explain it. So yeah, you get that sense. It feels like a handbook. It feels like a prop in some way. That's why, again, I assume that the tone from this is going to be directed at us as the players, characters, as these rats. So we'll go over there. Rats. Oh, look at that in terms of background, huh? Like some written scribbles, etc. Very interesting. And I like how you could take the font, the logo, and put it in like different, like obviously that's supposed to be like blood, but here it's like black instincts. Adore the style of this, AZ Drummond. How nice to see you, AZ Drummond. Nice to have you on here. All right. It says Yuri. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm absolutely going to butcher your name because I am terrible with names. Yuri Kurlianchik. We've got loads of illustrators here. So, and it says a dedication as well. I will say I did look at that link. There's a link that comes through. That's very exciting. A murderous rat, but there doesn't seem to be any website. That page isn't updated like a lot, which is a shame. I like that. Special thanks to a million cats who could eat us but choose not to. So yeah. So again, like I said, I don't know anything about this particular team. Contents. Oh well. I've got a long big bit of things. So my plan for this stream is we're going to look at the first couple of chapters. So we've got the Wake Up to Fail. I presume that's going to be introducing what the game is. We'll go through the Blame Your Parents bit. We won't necessarily look at the cultures stuff, because I assume that's going to be like the sort of character creation, because I really want to basically get to the basics and the combat rules, etc. I just want to get a flavour of them. But you can already see they've got obviously this culture stuff for the actual your character, the history as well, which could be quite interesting. Again, don't know if we'll have time for it. And then Blame Your Dreams. I don't know what that is either, but we've got a lot of stuff here. So there's a lot to pack into under just 300 pages. And presumably, like, Blame Your First Mission, I presume these are going to be Mad Mouse Furry Road there. Great name. I hope that's a story hook. That's pretty good. I think that must be your first that adventure it was talking about earlier. So yeah, we're going to try our best. But again, I'm very much aware that there's a lot of maybe setting up front, which totally makes sense for this unique game. But for us, what we're interested in is the mechanic and how easily we could get people into playing this game. I will say, like, look at these. You've got corporats, gear rats, lol rats, pie rats. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep going because otherwise I'm going to get very excited about the puns. Okay. Oh, wow, look at that image. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of this sort of style, but you know what? I like a good full page stuff, full page art. No alt text, unfortunately. Wake Up to Fail. All right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit because I can already see that this text is going to be a little bit difficult to read with the very cool like blood stain and coffee stains. But yeah, I'm gonna maybe do one more, and then I'm gonna move my. There we go. All right. We better look at lol rats. You know what? If you say it, we're gonna look at it. We'll look at that one at least, I think, because that one's quite funny. All right. So, if you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. Ramsay Snow, Game of Rats, amazing. Okay, if it's gonna have like misquotes from games and from TV shows like that, that's amazing. I love that. So you're sitting in your warren, surrounded by your siblings and other runts, their twitchy little noses poking out in unmentionable places, and you're thinking to yourself, what is this stack of papers I'm gnawing on? What is it all about? Maybe it's worth reading before eating. Congratulations, young rodent. By asking yourself these questions, you've already made your first step towards awakening. Soon you will know greatness, maybe even become a learned theologian or a famous manslayer. Okay, I said it would come in like sort of, not sort of like directed at you, the players. Already I'm like, manslayer. That's a character term. Amazing. I can already that terminology. I'm like, well, I'm excited. Have no doubts, young friend. God the Rat is most great, and he loves you very much indeed. However, His love is not unconditional. To earn it, you're going to have to kill some things. Oh, speaking of conditions, by the condition of that dead cat over there, I can see you've already acquired some experience in the art of killing in the name of God the Rat. Yes, the carcass smells quite delicious. You will hear no argument from this old rodent. Why, I won't mind. I won't mind a bit of a nibble myself. Now, seeing you're free from the pangs of hunger, kindly allow me to satisfy your hunger for knowledge and religion. Sit on your tail, shut your maw, and raise your ears. I have so much to teach you. Rats, book, RPG, explain now! I'm glad to see you are so eager to learn, young rodent. Listen now. Rats is a role-playing game about rats, much like you and I, who go on heroic missions against the human enemy in order to reclaim the world he has stolen from us. Each player takes on the role of a single rat in this epic struggle against injustice. The player is the author of its own destiny and the master of its desires. All of its abilities, powers, background, possessions, and traits are written on a character sheet. This way, the players know that the strong and weak points of their rat characters and make decisions accordingly. Oh no, I'm going to have to move it up a little bit. Actually, I'll get rid of the... I usually have scrolling turned off, but I'll enable scrolling for this so we can read the rest of it. There we go. The road to glory is wrought with many challenges. Humans, heretics, atheists, and revisionists, the nightmares of dreaming, spring traps, glue traps, cage traps, and even electric traps. A mysterious figure called the Exterminator, oh amazing, and a huge and terrifying dragon called Cinnamon, and many, many other dangers. What's a dragon? Cinnamon? Maybe a dog, perhaps? I don't know. You see, the world isn't a very nice place for a rat. That is why we are taking it back, to make it right again, like it was supposed to be before the humans stole it and turned it into a toxic hell of traps and poisons and ignorance it is today. What a great start. I will say, my only complaint so far is that look at the bottom. Like, if you're printing that off, it could cut off quite easily, wouldn't it? So it's got very, like that margin at the top is different to this margin at the bottom. So it's clearly quite a lot packed into this particular RPG. All right. And then we go to 2 columns. Blah, hate it, hate it. All these dangers are represented by the raconteur. That's our name, guys. We are the raconteur. That's our GM name. The raconteur is in charge of the creation and maintenance of the setting. In fact, the raconteur plays everything that isn't one of the player characters or the PCs. Oh, great. Tough on accessibility for sure, but a wonderful intro. Yes, I think all they had to do, I think, was just turn down the saturation a little bit for the ink stains, the sort of the what's I'm going to say, interior art, perhaps, and maybe make sure that like it's like you have the cream margins a little bit more there, because I feel like it's like stuff here is a little, again, it's just lots of dashes because it's breaking up words, so maybe a little bit of a more central line thing. But I agree, yeah, because like I've zoomed in a lot and even now I'm struggling a little bit. The player character's PC, so we're not just called rats, which is unfortunate. He is your eyes, ears, and of course nose in the hazardous world of rats. The raconteur characters are called non-player characters, or NPCs, non-playable rats. Be careful, many of them have ulterior motives. Only a few are honest enough to attempt to murder you outright. As you survive harder and more complicated missions, your rat character becomes more powerful. It learns new skills, masters new teachings, mutates into weird and wonderful new forms, and uncovers secrets that would drive lesser rats insane. The raconteur, never failing to oblige, pits you against increasingly deadlier and more complicated challenges, ensuring that the cycle of violence and vengeance never ends. That's a really cool thing there. So you've got that piece of sellotape. It actually changes the colour of the text underneath it. So to show almost like a 3D effect. That's quite good. And look at that cute little rat looking through glasses, trying to do reading. Very cute. Good. Like. Want to. How to use book. Okay, stop shouting, will you? I'm right here, you uncouth runt. I may not be as young as I used to be, but my hearing is sharp enough, thank you very much. Now, the first stage of joining the glorious revolutionary struggle to end the criminal human occupation of our world is actually reading the book and mastering its esoteric mysteries. These include the following. The Wake Up to Fail. So you've already read this section, so explaining it would be redundant. The life of a rat is too short for redundancies, so let's scurry on. Incredible. I dislike the 2-column thing. Yeah, it's my worst thing in the world. Like, physically, it's fine. I don't mind that, but when you're doing it on a PDF, I'm just there going, I hate everything about it. Again, if you're able, I think central column on most digital things, like, and then you can use the columns to have like side notes or have images. I just think it's just easier to read. But yeah, it is one I absolutely, when I read it in a book, I go ugh, and I switch off as a result. And you know what? I think I got it originally from textbooks and essays and stuff when it used to be really thin columns, like 4 columns to a page. It's dreadful. Then we've got blame your parents. So basic rules for generation and advancement of rat characters. Okay, so that's character creation. Nice. If you don't plan to play the raconteur, this chapter should be enough to get you started. Blame your culture. So our society is nothing if not diverse. In this chapter, you will find descriptions of the major rat cultures and unique privileges each culture bestows on its elite and members. Blame the world. The true history and current situation of the world according to the orthodox rat theology and politically approved historical bulletins. Oh, you see, that's a shame here. Look at this, like that mess there. It really disrupts what you're reading, doesn't it? Don't kill humans just for fun and profit. Kill them for honour, justice, and the rodent way. Blame your teachers. I like that. Blame your parents. Blame your culture. I like that. Almost like calling to action thing, isn't it? Blame your teachers. Detailed descriptions of the tricks and teaching rats can learn throughout their career in order to gain magnificent powers and survive unspeakable horrors. Aria Magica has those columns. Yeah, well, a lot of books have those columns, like D&D. Many D&D books have those columns. Loads of things we've read on this channel also has those columns as well. And it's fine. It doesn't work well with the background, I think, here. What was I going to say? So blame the rules. The rules are used for action resolution in rats. The raconteur should know this chapter like the back of his paw. Incredible. Players are advised to have at least a vague idea of how the world works, or they risk making utterly inadequate decisions and martyring their rats earlier than intended. Blame technology. Every item you can think of, ranging from toothpicks to used as eye picks, oh dear, nuclear bombs used as nuclear bombs. In addition to an extensive and expensive list of useful and harmful items, this chapter also includes rules concerning traps, poisons, disease, and even pets. Blame your enemies. The world is full of creatures that are not rats. For now. In this chapter, you will find the game's statistics and background information for various animals, humans, monsters, rats, and other persons of interest. There is also a dragon in there somewhere, so be careful. Blame your dreams. The minds of all sleeping rats join in this nightmarish domain of violence and madness known as the dreaming. Here, you'll get a 101 course on this deranged universe, its perverse physics, and its native flora and fauna. Blame God. God, the rat, likes to challenge the faithful who are in turn grateful for the increasingly sadistic opportunities to prove their faith. It almost feels a bit like Warhammer a little bit, doesn't it? Here, the raconteur will find many tips on how to design missions and adventures for his player rats. Honest rats should not read this chapter. Honest rats. Now that is an amusing oxymoron. Blame your ignorance. Whilst we expect all other books in the world to be eventually burned to make room for more copies of this book, for now, you can benefit from consulting them for inspiration on getting the feel of just this game. Oh, that's quite interesting. So like touchstones and media and stuff like that. That'd be quite interesting. We'll maybe look at that. Blame your first mission. So a bonus adventure to give you novice players and raconteurs a little bit of practice before releasing them into the wild, so to speak. Go to bed defeated. A little bedtime story to inspire noble dreams in the young rat. Unfortunately, there is nothing noble about it, and it does not have a happy ending. But then again, what does? And then we've got some appendices, so tables for random mutations, tables for random mutilations, tables for random NPCs, tables for random everything. Tables! Oh, look, I like that sort of mock-up there. Rats, a role-playing game for the whole family. You will have a blast. Excellent. What I think I might do then, maybe we'll skip ahead a little bit, because I do want to look at the Blame Your Parents and look at the rules for creating a character, but maybe we'll do that after we look at the rules first. Because I feel like I want to know what the actual game mechanic is. That's me personally. I think obviously we can tell like the setting and it's coming through quite strongly in the writing, which I absolutely love. I think the only thing is I could do, I think, cutting down a little bit, because it says here, like, I'm so glad you're eating, now listen, and then it goes, hang on, calm down, all that sort of thing. Like, we don't need that, like, that long a paragraph, per se. Even though I know we're getting through, like, that humour, that sort of vibe from it. But that's the only thing. So I think what we'll do, we'll see where we go, but I think Blame the Rules, we'll go to that chapter, then we'll go back to Blame Your Parents, and maybe Blame the World, if we've got time, because we've not got that much time, already about half an hour in. This page had a really cool thing, but humans stole it. Well, well, well. Alright, let's go up a little bit and we'll see content. So what page was it? Blame the Rules was 133. Gosh, so much in it. Okay, let's go to 133. I love it when a PDF actually works and it tells you, that you're not... It's because it used the Roman numerals for the bits before, so we instantly know what it is. So, Blame the Rules. Whilst the poor men die, the rich sing monetary phrases for the war machine. Rats scream for change and equality, whilst the machines of power stain humanity. War all day and the day that rats went to war. So the first thing I want to stress is that these rules are designed to help the raconteur and the players tell a magnificent tale. Get it? Of courage and sacrifice, not reduce the game to endless bickering over minute details and convoluted interpretations of the rules, leading to an endless contradictory commentaries on the system. That's what we have religion for. God, it's very aware, this, isn't it? Stupid humans. I agree. Yeah. Want to be a rat in this case, huh? However, to spare many good groups the ignominy of rules lawyering, let's start with this disclaimer. The rules of this game are not meant to be fair or unbalanced. It is not chess or football. This isn't a competitive game. Deal with it, you whiny munchkins. There. Now we can begin. Life is a test, death is the grade. Whoa. The Book of EE. Final Sermon, non-canonical. It's quite funny, this book, isn't it? I didn't expect that at all. Like, I guess, like, I'm sorry, I did expect it, but when I looked through it, I will say, let's look at the layout. If I zoom out a little bit, it's a little bit dense, I feel like. I don't, again, I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, maybe it takes itself too seriously. I shouldn't have thought that at all. It's clearly quite a funny book. So whilst undertaking a task with an uncertain outcome, roll a number of dice equal to the sum of the relevant ability and skill traits. Ah, so one of those ones, like a dice pool thing, huh? If the optional dedication rules are used, this number may not exceed your current number of caring traits. Again, we didn't look at that, so we don't know. So in addition, you may add any other bonus dice you weasel out of the raconteur with your half-baked arguments and reprehensible bribery. Dice that land on a 5 or 6 are wins, and dice that land on a 1 are called fails. This can be changed by the blessing or cursing of the roll. Oh, I see. That must be like... interesting. Blessings and curses add up. Double curses and double blessings are possible, but further blessing and cursing have no effect. For example, a test that is cursed twice and blessed thrice is blessed. However, a test blessed 3 times is still only double blessed. Ah, I see. Okay. I assume... Oh, okay. So actually the blessed stuff, I'm just looking ahead here, this means it sort of expands your success. So like if you're blessed or even double blessed, you can score wins on 4, 5, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, what happened? Yeah, okay. 4, 5, and 6. Normal is just 5 or 6. And then if you're cursed, only a 6 goes. Okay, I like that, rather than advantage or disadvantage. Double blessed dice can explode. Exploding dice are dice that can allow you to roll an additional die if a certain number is rolled. So for example, 6 explodes, so it says it here, it's special, means that when a die lands on a 6, you may roll an additional die and add it to the current test result. Additional dice can't explode unless an effect explicitly states otherwise. Dice can also implode. Oh no! Imploding die may cancel out a single win if a certain number is rolled. So for example, 1 implodes, here on double cursed, means that each die that produces a 1 cancels out 1 success. Oh no! This may cause the roll to become an epic failure, even if some of the dices were wins. Ah. And here we go, so we've got that double bless and stuff, but there's something here. Is there a... It must be underneath, perhaps? No. Where's that double bless? Oh, I guess that comes from here, perhaps? I don't know, maybe it'll say in the text. So, if you score at least as many wins as the test's difficulty, then the test succeeds. Wins that exceed the test's difficulty are called leftover wins and can be used in certain circumstances. So for example, if you roll 4 wins on a D2 test, you'll have 2 leftover wins. Ah, difficulty 2 test. Okay, straightforward so far. If you have fails and no wins, then the test results in an epic fail. This usually entails a painful or embarrassing defeat. If all the dice land on fails, my furry friend, you are in for a catastrophe. A test that not only fails horrifically, but whose negative consequences go beyond the initial scope. If, on the other hand, you have 5 or more leftover wins, the test results in an epic win, which not only achieves its aim, but also benefits you and your allies in new and unforeseen ways. In brackets, there is no positive counterpart for a catastrophe. Oh, wow. There is no positive counterpart for catastrophic, there we go, get there eventually, catastrophic fails. Let's face it, the world hates you. A bonus or penalty may increase or decrease the number of dice rolled in a test. So for example, survival plus scurry plus 2 means you may add 2 to the sum of your survival ability and scurry skill. I'm guessing 2d6, right? Rather than the how much you get for it. Penalties may never reduce your dice pool to less than 1. There you go, yeah. Hope always endures, even if only to make your subsequent failure all the more painful. So, simple tests. Roll against a set difficulty. To succeed, you must score at least as many wins as the test difficulty, which is D. So a D1 is very easy. A D5 may require extensive training, and a D10 constitutes a task of Herculean proportions. If the test lacks a stated difficulty, then difficulty is 1. Some tests are difficulty 0, which means you need no wins to succeed at them at all. However, the raconteur can still make you roll on the off chance that you'll botch it with an epic fail. That's kind of mean-spirited, but hey, that's rats! So we've got an example here. So recognize an esoteric pre-ignorant sigil is a D4, so difficulty 4 of cunning plus study. So that's a cool image there. I like that. Interesting. I've got one here. Bite an annoying whelp on the nose for asking too many questions is a difficulty 1 ferocity plus kill. Survive a spoonful of poison you just swallowed is a D3 survival. Oof. So you could have just that attribute as well. And running through a random pocket in the hope of finding car keys is a D2 luck. Okay, simple enough, straightforward enough. Again, I think the only thing I would say about that section is just clarifying this bit, decreasing the number of dice rolled, yeah. But then that line here, for example, it doesn't actually explain it at all. So you may add 2 dice to the sum of your ability and scurry skill dice pool. That's it. So opposite tests. So you and the target both roll. Whoever scores the most wins prevails. In the case of a tie, the participant with fewer fails wins. In the case of a tie in that department, well, do rock, paper, scissors until one of you wins or collapses from exhaustion, whichever comes first. God, I like that. So you've got stuff like deduce if a rat is being dishonest with you is cunning plus sense versus cunning plus talk. Survive a denouement in your warren. Oh, is ferocity plus boss versus survival plus boss, etc. Okay. And then we have extended tests as well, so you have to accumulate a certain number of wins, possibly in various skills, before making a set amount of unsuccessful tests. Many extended tests allow several rats to combine their unique skills in accomplishing the task at hand more quickly and efficiently. So yeah, this is, again, not unheard of. Like, again, extended trouble in Tales from the Loop. I think Warhammer also does this. Like, loads of games do that idea of everyone, you've got to get a certain number of wins in order to win something. I finally played around a session of Babes in the Wood, which had a really cool thing called Genius Plan, where we would go, okay, it sounds like a genius plan's about to happen, and then you discuss what each of you are doing, and then you would roll for it, and then calculate the successes and and failures at the end, and then describe what happens, because then rather than doing it one bit at a time, you're doing it all at once. And that was good because then we could really collaborate on the failures and the wins, etc. Group tests. So a group of rats can work together to improve the dice pool of a test rolled by a single rat. Group tests are not always possible. So for example, it makes sense for a group of rats to pull a giant carrot out the ground by combining their strength. Hell, there's even a popular Unirat song about it. However, it is impossible for a group of rats to analyse a dream together. They can each make a separate test, but they cannot pool their brains together for the task. So yeah, depending on the task, if you all work together, it makes sense. When performing a group test, one rat provides ability traits and the other provides skill traits. They are referred to as the taskmasters. All other rats are helpers. Ordinarily, each helper can contribute one trait from a relevant skill or ability not present to use in the test. However, the raconteur may call exceptions as he or she wishes. So, for example, if we use the example of the giant carrot, a proper harness would enable all the assistants to contribute as many scurry traits as they like for the task. No harness would limit it to just only 4 rats. If the optional dedication rules are used, then the limit of the dice pool is the sum of the caring traits of all the rats involved in the test. Interesting. I wonder what this caring trait is all about. Note that group tests are not the same as assisted tests. See combat actions below. Okay, so we've got a good idea of what the main mechanic is of these tests, and the idea of getting like either a D5 or D6 on a normal test. If it's blessed in some way, presumably like advantageous in some way, like you're prepared for it, then maybe that's what. But it does talk about bonus and penalty die as well. So I guess how does one differentiate? Like, oh, it's a blessed thing, but you've also got some penalty die to take some dice away from it there, so that feels like that's 2 different kinds of like advantage and disadvantage being played, which I like, but I guess I'm wondering for the where are you? Like the bless and curse stuff. Like I really like that. I don't know if I would bother doing the bonus die and penalty die. Perhaps I don't know. I again would have to play it to understand it, I think. Combat rules. So whoso sheddeth rat's blood by rat shall has his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he rat. Genesis 9:6. King Rat translation 2010. So, combat is the process in which one party attempts to do bodily harm unto another party and vice versa until one party decides it has had enough and elects to expire or flee, whichever comes last. Ordinarily, a combat round includes the following stages. So, determine the order of battle, DOB, actions in any order, so 1 or more free actions, shout a short command, look around, mumble a prayer, smile charmingly, perform a certain teaching, etc. 1 move action, so run, climb, swim, pull loose lever. God, that is really hard to read there, isn't it? Hide behind cover, etc. 1 combat action, so bite, provide first aid, pull stuck lever, type computer password, etc. And resolution is at the end there. So move creatures, mutilate foes, destroy objects, open windows, die. just die, and then next combatant. So again, very similar. We've had this before in other RPG games, so that you have one main action, a combat action, a move action, and then one or more free actions. That could be something flavoursome. Okay. God, it really is getting harder to read, isn't it? So provided that one side does not surprise the other, the order of actions in battle is determined by rolling and summing each of the combatants' current survival and scurry. So that's your sort of initiative thing there. Those with a higher sum act first. In case of a tie, those with more survival traits act first. In a case of a tie, perform rock, paper, scissors to determine a winner. You know what, I think I like the idea of rock, paper, scissors for winners. Like, I know I've got so much more in survival. I get that. I do want to do that more random element of chance. I think that's more fun. So yeah, I might go, okay, there's a tie, rock, paper, scissors. Let's do that. So optional rule. For more realistic and thoughtful encounters, ask each player which skill their rat will use and determine the order of battle based on the skill. Oh, that's quite cute. I like that. Thus, the most proficient fighter on the planet would still act last if their plans for this round revolve around knitting a lovely rat-sized sweater whilst under enemy fire. I like that a lot. I like that sort of optional rule going, okay, what ones do you think you're going to be using and determine the battle order on that. Movement actions. You better run for your life if you can, little girl. Hide your head in the sand, little girl. Catch you in another sermon. That's the end, little girl. The Beatles. On the complex relations between pack rats and theologians. Any action that results in a shift in your location, no matter how minor, requires at least a single movement action. The exception is falling down, which is a free action. Some modes of movement are particularly challenging and count as combat actions. A jump following a running start, for example, requires both a movement and a combat action. There are some nuances discussed below, but for those who literally have to run, here's a table with movement speed in rats. All distances are measured in tails. That's quite cute, isn't it? So we've got running there, it's a distance of 6. Again, I quite like this table. It's a shame that this table, again, isn't just completely blocked out. So you can see the blood here is going on. Again, just a little bit of careful layout would have been good there. It's also on its side a little bit. I don't understand why. Running. So rats always run. Unlike clumsy humans, rats don't need to slow down for stealth. They are as quiet at full speed as they are crawling on their bellies. A rat can run 6 tails in a single move action. A rat can use its combat action to make a DC 0 survival scurry test to move an additional tail per win. Oh, that's quite cool. Another combat action relating to running is zigzagging. This halves your speed rather down after the test. But cursing all attacks that you have that have you as their solo target. So that means that anything that's going to attack you has to get a 6 in their successes. Zigzagging requires no skill whatsoever, and as such remains the favoured defense tactic amongst younger rats. Squeaking hysterically is not mandatory, but nevertheless is widely practiced. Amazing. What's this? Rat carrying capacity. So rats are fast, smart, and awesome. Unfortunately, they are also very small compared to their ginormous enemies. A normal rat can carry up to 100 grams per survival trait. This number can be increased for one encounter by spending scurry traits at the rate of 50 grams per trait. A rat can drag or push 5 times this number, which may or may not make a noise depending on the item and the surface. Whilst pushing or pulling, the rat's speed is reduced to 1, as that's 1 tail. Rats that use alternative modes of movement such as flying, swimming, climbing, and so forth can carry half as much and cannot drag or push. That's good to know. Climbing. Rats are excellent climbers and can move up and down rough surfaces as deftly as they run on flat ground, with the base speed of 3 instead of 6. Just like running, climbing is automatically stealthy. However, the difficulty of moving additional distances whilst climbing is not always 0. If the difficulty is higher than 1, the test is mandatory and failure results with the rat falling off the surface. See Against the Humans for special rules regarding climbing living creatures. Oh, amazing! Ooh, that sounds like a great rule to have. I like that. Got some more tables here. Funny fall, short fall, insane fall. Oh no. Soft ground, pointy hurty stuff. Oh. Swimming. So rats are superb swimmers. A rat can swim about half its running speed, so 3 in calm waters, and use combat actions to increase its movement just as with running. However, with turbulent waters, the raconteur may increase the difficulty, in which case only leftover winds add tails. Ah, I see, okay. So the rats can hold their breath for considerable periods of time. Every 10 rounds a rat spends underwater causes it to lose a single survival trait. If a rat runs out of survival traits while still underwater, it drowns. So it sounds like survival traits, or like traits itself, they're going to be the hit points in this case. A drowned rat is helpless and loses 1 ability trait each round. Oh, maybe not then. It is not considered a mutilation and has no long-term effects. Traits lost due to drowning are fully restored after a long rest. However, if all abilities drop to 0, the rat dies. Okay, so that's, yeah, still the same thing, dropping to 0. Jumping. So a rat can jump 2 tails high and 3 tails long with a single movement. Jumping further requires a survival scurry test. Each win adds another tail to the rat's jumping distance in both axes. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. A running start of at least 3 tails blesses this test. And falling. Despite being quick and fun whilst they last, falls tend to be on the tragic note. End on the tragic note, making them a controversial mode of transpiration? Or is it maybe supposed to be transportation, perhaps? That being said, rats show amazing skill at surviving falls from great heights. Use the below table, so the one on the side, to calculate the number of hits inflicted by the fall. If a falling rat is conscious, they may make a survival scurry test. Each win removes a single hit down from to a minimum of 0 hits. An unconscious rat may make a luck test instead. It's not much, but it's something. If a falling creature has bigness traits, and these are added to the hits that take from the fall, this damage cannot be soaked by the bigness traits. Thus, a human who slips from a pool table and falls on a bed of nails, a common occurrence these days, will take 36 hits, enough to injure or even kill him or her. So yeah, I've got this example here of this table. Digging. The rat's word for digging literally translates to the English as eat walking. Digging essentially consists of repetitive attacks against the surface, which might be anything from a timber wall to Winston Smith's. Oh wow, what a reference! Winston Smith's abdominal muscles. That 1984 reference there, amazing. Digging is a very slow mode of movement, and rarely used in combat unless the surface in question is very soft or at odds, or the odds are very dire. A digging rat creates a passage wide enough for any creature of its size or smaller to pass through. In order to dig one tail either horizontally or vertically, a rat must perform a cunning digging extended test. An epic fail automatically results in a cave-in, oh no, which traps everyone inside the tunnel. This inflicts 1d6 hits on any creature inside the tunnel and starts to suffocate them as per the drowning rules. See swimming above. There we go. Look at that. Materials, we get, okay, rotten wood, yeah, these are the wind fresheners we need. Diamond steel, 30 plus. Amazing. Alright, combat actions. We attack. Attack your fetal servitude. We attack with pesticide. We attack. All the years of propaganda. We shall attack. System of a Down. Attack of the rats. The basic combat roll is a test with a difficulty determined by the target and the attack type. The ability and skill used are not set in stone. Whilst clawing usually uses ferocity, one could make the argument that a fleeing rat attacking with its hind feet should actually use survival, or even cunning if the route is particularly convoluted. At the end of the day, the raconteur chooses whether to allow a certain ability and skill combination. On the rare occasions, one or more ability or skill could be applied to a test. So, for example, answering a theological question asked by the order would use prey, cunning, and survival because your life literally depends on a very good answer. Many attacks used by rats and humans are described in this chapter. However, this list is by no means exhaustive. Consider it a guideline on how to resolve various attack actions the players and the raconteur come up with. Rats relies on improvisation and innovation, so raconteurs should expect players to invent fiendishly clever maneuvers that require even the best prepared raconteur to make ad hoc decisions. The same goes for humans, who often think of diabolically evil ways to harm rats. So, attack. So unless stated otherwise, attacking with natural or personal weapons requires a ferocity plus kill test with a difficulty equal to the target's survival, or an opposed rolls if you want a deadlier game. A successful attack inflicts 1 hit per win plus any additional hits or effects produced by the attacker's weapons or teaching. So yeah, again, fairly straightforward here. This number is reduced by the attacker's armor rating, and if any hits remain after this subtraction, then the attack is considered successful and inflicts damage. If a target is a minor NPC, it loses 1 ability trait per hit after the subtraction. The raconteur chooses how to distribute hits between abilities in a manner that is best represented by the victim's ambitions. So, for example, a fanatic that intends to fight to the death will keep its ferocity high as possible until the very end. A cowardly foe, on the other hand, will preserve survival and luck traits. It's always sensible to lose bigness traits first because they have no use except for soaking damage. If the target is a PC or a major NPC and has no bigness traits to spare, damage results in a roll on the mutilations table. Each hit modifies the result by plus 10, and each luck trait modifies it by a minus 10. A negative number results only in minor bruising that Mama can kiss away. A roll of 700 plus, oh my word, results in an instant and horrifying demise. Wow, that's amazing. Wait, each hit and roll, so it must make maybe a D100 table perhaps. That'll be interesting, maybe we can see that in a second. And it says, so make a test in any skill which allows teamwork against half the difficulty of the task. Any leftover wins from this test go into the assist pool, which lasts until the end of the round. Any number of rats may contribute to the assist pool, with the difficulty of each new test halved again down to a minimum of 1. The creatures who have with more than 1 attack can use some attacks to assist other attacks. Ugh. So, for example, a cat could roll assist with its tentacles to help the proboscis attack. This sounds like it's going to get very tricky, I'll be honest. An active ally may add all dice in the assist pool to a single test of the same skill as the assist pool. Assist dice do not affect or are affected by caring, nor are they affected by any blesses or curses that affect the trait. So it's almost like a straight skill there, straight pool dice there, a dice pool there. So in order to avoid confusion, we recommend using dice of a different colour to represent the assist pool. Yeah, I would agree with that. As a rule of thumb, the maximum number of rats that can assist in an attack action is 6 plus the target's bigness, making it a dozen for an average cat and 40 for an average human. Excuse me, I'm going to have some water. Whoa, losing my voice already. We're only an hour in. Making it a dozen for an average cat and 40 for an average human. Since the latter may result in rolling hundreds of dice, assume 33% for normal tests, 50% for wins with blessed tests, and 66% for double blessed test rolls. Okay, so we've got that there as well. Yeah, a little bit tricky though. I think what I'd like here perhaps is an actual example, like a read for example, to explain it. Optional focus. So regain 1d6 caring traits. This number may be adjusted by teachings and special qualities. So I guess this is like, so these are the main attacks that we can choose to attack, assist, focus. Idiot attacks. I'm not a big fan of the word idiot, but let's see where this goes. So each round, a creature may attempt 1 immediate attack against an enemy that did something stupid within the range of its melee attacks. Examples of stupid things include moving like there's no enemy, eating a sandwich like there's no tomorrow, looking for stuff in your backpack even as the mighty boot comes stomping down, or going to sleep as if the entire bleeding world just wasn't there. These things are stupid. Don't do them. For rats, idiot attacks are always bites. Humans can use their limbs or any objects in their hands to whack you with, and you know what? You deserve it. because you are a furry little idiot. There's a big gap there. And must be the alignment there. It's just like attacks of opportunity. That's what it is, right? I feel like this is very optional and subjective. I also don't like the word of it, so I don't know if I would actually use this. I feel like it's a bit unfair. Rodent warfare. Thou shalt kill. Book of EE, 19:7. Chapter 19, verse 7. That you. Given a choice, a rat will always choose elaborate man-traps, deadly poisons, mutant plagues, catastrophic floods, or orbital bombardment over its meagre incisors or tiny blade. However, the nature of the beast often forces rats to get into close combat with enemies hundreds of times heavier and thousands of times stronger. Also, rats sadly often find themselves fighting their own kind due to hunger, religion, politics, general difference of opinion, or because there's nothing good on TV. Below are some attacks that you may employ to save your life, or at least die in style. So we've got natural and small weapons. So by far the most common melee attack used by rats is biting. There's something intoxicating about the feeling of your incisors shearing your enemy's flesh and warm blood gushing out, feeling your gullet with the metallic taste of delicious agony. Sadly, in this age of mechanized warfare and impersonal murder, biting rarely makes the most effective solution. Some rats, particularly scrats and Zenumi, use melee weapons. The most popular melee weapon includes razors, snap-off blades, scalpels, sharpened coins, needles, broken scissors, and iron jaws that improve your natural bite. Oh yes, almost like that guy from not Doctor Who, what's he called? James Bond. I don't want to call it. It's not called Jawbone. It's called something else. But yeah, the guy with horrible teeth. Ugh. While only slightly more effective than bites, melee weapons often allow for special attacks such as blade gilding that justify their use. Due to their small size and horizontal anatomy, rats cannot use thrown weapons unless they have privileges, teachings, or mutations that say otherwise. How interesting. Inanimate freaking objects. Sometimes rats feel the need to attack inanimate objects, mostly to vent their frustration, but sometimes with more reasonable aims in mind. Alas, when it comes to breaking stuff, even the stuff their own size, rats are ill-suited to the task. Unless you have access to explosives, your fiercest attack is probably going to only leave cosmetic damage, which the humans will notice after a thorough examination, if at all. If the rats want to disable a device, it should use the tinker skill. If the rats want to create a passage for an object, they should use the dig skill. With very few and very creative exceptions, simply attacking objects, whether by tooth or by weapon, just wastes your precious time. So, blade gilding. So this is what it was talking about before. So sliding is an acrobatic feat with the potential to soften falls while causing unspeakable pain to the surface in case it's a living creature and not a bit of tapestry. The rat sticks a sharp weapon in the surface and glides down for as long as the weapon remains lodged. Whilst only causing flesh wounds, this bitch hurts. I see. So yeah, that idea, you're going down like the tapestry or something like that, or maybe somebody's leg. Massive weapons and war machines. Many weapons are too large and complicated for a single rat to operate. Examples include commanded human weapons such as guns, crossbows, bowling balls, and experimental war machines from the forges of the gear rats, and the secret labs of the techno rats. Massive weapons require crews to transport and operate. However, they are incredibly destructive, often to the point of killing one or more humans with one shot, making the group effort worthwhile. However, when misfiring, they tend to mutilate tens of rats, which also is a point worth considering. The operation of human weapons follows a ready, aim, fire routine, which with each part requiring a different set of tests. The first two stages can often be skipped or failed, but this will have an adverse effect on the firing stage. Amazing. Oh, look at that image there. Hello, Victor. Hello, new to the stream and just looking. Have a good day. Oh, nice to have you here, Victor. We're just going through this RPG called Rats and reading it aloud and seeing what we like about it. So glad to have you here, my friend. Let's see. Team office. Is this just describing what the thing is? Yeah, it's just describing what this particular weapon does. This office bombardment. So that's why we don't have to look at that. Injury and mutilation. I'm still not a big fan of the word mutilation. I'll be honest. No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering. Pinhead, rat raiser. Brilliant. Love that. As much as violence is fun to inflict, it hurts to receive. In this section, you'll learn about the various unpleasant side effects of being brutalized by the human enemy and his foul accomplices. So, mutilations. As previously stated, wins in attack tests produce hits. Armor and bigness traits can be used to soak hits and avoid mutilation. Luck can be used to mitigate the mutilation roll. However, eventually you will run out of luck. You will either be reduced down to size and stripped of all your defenses. It is inevitable. Then you will encounter the mutilation roll. Roll, oh my god, a 666 d6. With the result increased or decreased by 10 per hit. Oh, so we were saying before that could go up to 700. Ooh. And increase or decrease by luck per luck trait target's choice. So, okay, that's going to go up and down as a result. Interesting. In case this adjustment produces a number that doesn't appear on the table, round it up. In practice, this means that any roll ending with a number that's higher than 66 in the mutilation ending with 11... Oh, wait. Hang on. In practice, this means that any roll ending with a number higher than 66 results in a mutilation ending with 11 in the next category. So yeah, bumping it up. I understand. Holy heck. Exceptions are the rolls of 700 or higher. If this occurs, you just die. A single attack may only result in a single mutilation, no matter how many hits it produces. However, if an attack produces more hits than all of the target's ability ratings, i.e. the death threshold combined, then it kills it on the spot, and that's that. Each mutilation has an instant effect and a lingering trauma. Both instant effects and trauma are applied as soon as the mutilation is inflicted. However, the instant effect ends at the conclusion of the encounter, whilst the trauma persists until treated, or, which is more statistically likely, you die. And the likely way to rid of a trauma is to roll a corresponding mutation, but the odds of this that this will happen are very low unless you are a veritable museum of pain and madness, in brackets, which is really the obsession of any god-fearing rat. If you roll mutations that you already have, the long-term effects of the result is a more severe kind of injury known as a complication. Mutilations are a mutilation 100 places higher than your current mutilation. Oh, wow. If you already have a mutilation at 100 places higher, then jump another 100 places and so on. So you're constantly getting higher and higher and higher in that mutilation thing. Repeat until you reach a mutilation you do not have. If this results in a number higher than 666, then nothing happens. Just one of the many perks of being terribly mutated. Just one of the many perks of being a terribly mutilated invalid. Don't like that word. Let's not use that word, shall we? It's not a very good word. For example, see, this is what I mean for the examples. Again, it could be nice if we could just stand out. So for example, if you rolled 146 twisted tail, reduce luck by 1 for a second time, you get 264 funny bone, reduce luck by 2, which means now you're missing 3 luck traits. Better fix up your damn tail ASAP. Large targets such as furniture or humans don't usually roll on the mutilations table. Instead, the area attacked is the area mutilated. No matter how much you gnaw on a man's toe, for example, you won't hurt his eye. Unless vital to the story, most foes don't roll on the mutilated table either. Instead, each hit reduces 1 ability trait, the raconteur's call. Instead, oh yeah, I said that. When all the traits are reduced to 0, the enemy has been defeated. It is helpless and at the player rat's mercy, or in brackets, or, which is more statistically likely, the lack thereof. And we've got an optional thing here called pain threshold. A creature's pain threshold determines the maximum number of mutilations and conditions it can suffer before becoming helpless. Starting pain threshold is equal to the sum of a creature's current ferocity and survival traits, or 5, whichever is higher. This number can be modified by advantages and other special rules. As soon as the number of conditions and mutilations affecting the creature reaches this number, it becomes helpless. It can return to normal activity after a day of rest, or if enough conditions and mutilations are removed to bring the creature below its pain threshold. Interesting, so you can make it slightly harder for you. Again, probably would be nice to see an example of it, perhaps. Death threshold. So this number indicates how many mutilations and conditions the character can suffer before dying. Starting death threshold equal to the number of character ability ratings. Rattings, I keep saying. This number can be modified by advantages and other special rules. Unless otherwise stated, a creature that reaches its death threshold dies instantly. I've got some examples of conditions here. I'll read out this thing, but I won't read out each of the individual ones. Torture is not a method of extracting information. It is a mode of artistic expression. So please stop breaking my concentration with your confessions, secrets, and inner psyche. Today, I am an artist. Dr. Agonis von Schreck, brilliant psychologist and renowned psychopath. As if mutilating you wasn't enough, many attacks have additional effects. Unless stated otherwise, there is no limit to how many conditions you can have at a time, unless you have this special rule, the pain threshold rule. Therefore, it is possible to have a bleed 2 from a knife stab, disorient for 2 from hitting your head on a rock, and nauseated from considering your future prospects. Conditions of the same type do not stack. Instead, conditions with a higher number of replace conditions with a lower number. So, if a rat from the above example gets stabbed again, it suffers 3 bleed. Bleed is now 3 and not 5, so you're not adding them together. That makes sense. Exceptions to this rule are painful and sick/poison conditions. A rat can endure any number of painful traits and enjoy a diverse cocktail of poisons. Okay. Look at that image. See, that one's quite a cute image. I like that one. Right, death. So the soul is immortal, but flesh is fleeting. Below are the most common means by which rats achieve martyrdom, sorted by order of probability. So, if you have more mutilations and conditions than your current death threshold, you die. If a single attack inflicts more hits than your death threshold, you die. If you roll a mutilation that says you die, you die. If all your ability traits are reduced to 0, you die. And if the raconteur says you die, you die. And then healing and recovery. Whilst horrible injuries improve one's odds of developing better mutations, they are decidedly uncomfortable to live with. Thankfully, anything that doesn't kill an awakened rat on the spot will eventually heal. So R&R. So the most common reason rats rest, except for the biological need for sleep, is to restore spent traits. R&R usually restores only spent traits. Traits lost due to mutilations, disease, and so forth must be healed. See below. Normally, traits return at the following pace. Bigness, caring, enormity, and skill are restored to their maximum values after 1 hour of uninterrupted rest, unless the source of the damage stated otherwise. You don't have to sleep, but you don't have to engage in anything that requires rolling dice or spending traits. Ability traits return at the pace of 1 trait per day per ability. Unlike skills, you don't have to be idle the whole day. However, if a day was particularly dreadful, the raconteur may rule that only some or none of your spent ability traits are restored. So, for example, if you spend the whole day fleeing an eagle across the desert, you may restore a cunning trait but not a survival trait. Conversely, if you spend the whole day in the library reading about killer eagles and deserts, you may restore 1 survival trait but not 1 cunning trait. Providence traits cannot be restored by rest since they come from without and not from within. Oh. Come from without, not from within. What? For rules of restoring prevalence, see the blame your parents. So go back to that top. So that must be something to do with character creation, right? First aid. So a rat may attempt to treat an injured ally as a combat action. Unless stated otherwise, the difficulty is equal to the rating of the condition or the first digit of the mutilation. A successful test removes the mutilation and conditions immediately and ends all related effects. First aid may be only attempted once per mutilation. Right, so it's almost like it's like temporary, and then if you failed it, that's it. That's the end of that. Fair enough. Physical mutilations are treated with heal. Mental mutilations are treated with talk. Weird mutilations can only be treated by clever role-playing. Since the table doesn't list which mutilation is which, consult with the raconteur before making any rash decisions. All tests made by a rat forced to treat its own injuries are cursed. Right, so it's better for you to treat other folks. I understand. Interesting. Natural healing. So once per week, you can make one survival test per mutilation using the above difficulties. The raconteur may increase the difficulty by 1 to 3 due to unfavourable conditions such as frequent bouts of violence, squalor, hunger, mental distress, and other conditions that constitute default rodent existence. Some mutilations cannot be treated without some clever role-playing or access to advanced medical equipment. So for example, if a victim has had his paw chopped off, you better come up with some fancy cybernetic contraption or some next-level genetic research to help them get a new paw. Leeches and chicken soup are not going to cut it. Pardon the pun this time. An ally may make a difficulty 0 cunning, talk, or heal, depending on the mutilation, for this assisted healing. Access to drugs and medical equipment bless or even double bless the test, while squalor or constant movement curses it. Every win scores on the test grants the victim an additional die on their natural healing test at the end of the week. This test can only be made once per rat and affects all mutilations and conditions. There we go. And then we've got some giant vehicles. I can see the word kamikaze there. I'm just going to ignore that bit though. And let's have a look through. So this probably goes then into like driving around and movement, which I don't think we need to look at that. But we've got the main gist of what the main mechanics are. This idea of a dice pool, which I kind of like. I do kind of like. Oh wow, look at that. That's driving like a human's. Oh, I see what it's trying to do. So you're drawing big. That's quite cool. It's almost like its own little mini game, a human car, and then you have different sections for what you're doing together. That's quite smart. I really like that. But wait, how many players can you have in this game? Do you have up to 9 people? Crazy rat at 9 there. Interesting. Well, we won't look at it because again, I don't want to spend too much time of like again rules that we might not look into. But that's quite good. I see. These are optional. I see. Some of these are optional. Nice. Look at that image. Cracking. Like that a lot. And then we've got giant enemies. Look at that. It's about strangling that one. Don't forget to floss. Amazing. So I guess so far. Oh wow, look at that image. Groin. Were you fine by people? I think I'm liking the style of this. I will say I think it's you know what it's like someone said earlier. I think it's just very hard to read, and it's a bit dense in places. So it's quite. It's like I love the tone of it. I think it's on the right. It's walking that line between being like here's the game mechanics but also here's the rules, brother and sister rats, you know, that sort of thing. So I quite like that. But yeah, I just wish the background was just turned down a little bit so we can read it and maybe shrink it down, have like a space for it because it is quite difficult to read. I won't look at the human mutilation stuff. That's a little bit interesting. Do you see that one there? It says groin males only. I don't know if I'd have that. Oh gosh, I'm just reaching around, but there you go. This page is left blank in compliance with the Uni-Rat safety regulations. There you go. Oh, that's a cute one. And then bite your dream. So there's that thing about dreaming as well, but we're not going to look at that. What we're going to do now, so we've got the main rules, which is what I want to get out of it. I think I like them very much. But let's go back to, if I go back to, there we go, go back to the contents page. So we've done this bit here, which is good. We've looked at the combat actions. Again, seems fairly straightforward, easy to understand if you've played rules before. let's look at the blame your parents stuff then. So that's going to be character creation, and then maybe we'll end on the lol rats, having a look at what they are as well. Because yeah, we're not going to have time to do the blame the world history check, because it's about 24 pages, so it's not too bad. But I'm enjoying it so far. I'll be honest. When I looked at it initially, I was like, oh, I'm not so sure about it. It seemed quite overwhelming. I'm enjoying it so far, though. Little tweaks I would put in places, but so far good. But let's do the blame your parents section. So that's page 5. Okay. We'll zoom in a little bit. Oh no, that's too much. Too far. Blame your parents. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something. The Rodent Bride. We literally just looked at the Princess Bride RPG, didn't we? So humans think that all rats are the same, but in reality, rats are just as diverse as the furless brutes who have stolen and mutilated the world, and in brackets, sometimes even more so. So, for example, here's some examples of characters. So Hal is an expert mercenary who lives for the joy of the hunt and the pleasures of giving commands to dedicated soldiers or bullied subordinates. His most cherished possessions are to make makeshift bazookas. His most cherished possessions are his makeshift bullet bazooka and his collection of human teeth. Hal is a pocket rat. And then we've got Capone. Null is an internet celebrity who gained an odd awakening in a human laboratory. Interesting. Void. Cool. Interesting. So that I'm guessing these two are like part of the character creation because it's on page 9, so it's quite close. Hal is someone different, and then Capone, I presume these are gonna be like NPCs or rats that you come across in the and here Scarn. It's like in the adventure perhaps. So quite cool. Alright. So maybe some of this trait stuff will start to make sense now. So below are the stages of character creation. If you wish to relieve yourself of the burden of responsibility, you can randomly generate characters using the appropriate tables in the appendix. Amazing, like that sort of stuff. So first off, pick is background. So pick an option from each of the following categories and then think of a short phrase that describes your character. This is not the next great under-rat novel, so keep it short. So here we've got race. So you pick black, brown, white, swamp, Gabian. And culture, we have blood rats, corporats, dark rats, first rats, gear rats, gur rats, hor rats, lol rats, Nezumi, pirates, pocket rats, ratagun, road rats, scrats, techno rats, under rats, uni rats. Trick, awesome, brainy, dreamy, which is optional. I presume that's something to do with the dreamscape stuff. Cute, nosy, soulful, speedy, toothy, or violent. Habitat, then you roll on the table below. And then that's that first step of background. Abilities, so distribute 10 traits between ferocity, survival, cunning, and luck. So we've got those 4 things there. An ability cannot be less than 1 trait or more than 5. So everything has to have something at the beginning, but no more than 5. That's good. Kieran says, not directly related, but the phrase pocket rat makes me think of my friends' pet rats, who often like to take a nap in my large front pocket when I visit. Oh, that's super cute. Yeah, at university, I used to have I had some friends who got rats. And yeah, if you had a hoodie or anything like with a big pocket at the front, they'd just hang out there whilst we were just like chatting around watching like TV and stuff. They were very cute, very, very docile. Skills. So then distribute 10 traits. So I guess here I see traits as like an actual, like the attributes, traits and skills. So here it's points. It means distribute 10 points between boss, dig, dream, which is optional. So you have dream twice then? Oh no, it's dream is yeah, dreamy, it was the trick one, I understand that. So boss, dig, dream, optional. Heal, kill, man sense, oh great. Mouse, pray, scurry, sense, study, talk, and tinker. So what's that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 skills. Each skill cannot be allocated more than 5 traits. So you could have, yeah, because you've got more than 10 traits here, so you might have some traits that don't have anything in it. Instinct, you start with 7 instinct traits. Providence, you start with 2 providence traits. Caring, which is optional, you start with 10 caring traits. Equipment, roll 3 times on random table items, on the random item table in Blame technology. You may re-roll identical results. This useless junk is your starting equipment, so go choke on it and then go forth and kill. So, okay. So far, it seems like obviously we get the biggest sort of section would be this background bit, right? And then the traits and stuff like that, that's pretty good. I guess I wonder if we're gonna get some sort of trick, but maybe it's not gonna be as related as it in D&D was, etc. So interesting. So let's look at background then. So first and last lines of your epitaph are the only ones people will bother to read. The first is written by those who brought you into this world, your mother and the god rat. The last is written by those who took you away from this world, your killer and God the rat. Truly, God the rat is the most excellent. Book of Air. Message to the Boom Booms. Chapter 2, verse 12. Most rats can be described with three qualities: the race to which they were born, the culture in which they were raised, and the habitat where they roamed before joining the Grand Awakening. So culture. So most rats belong to one of 17 great cultures. Okay, so this is going to give us an overview of them, so that's all right. They are also elite or fringe cultures marked with an asterisk that only accept candidates that meet the highest criteria. But let's face it, you runts are so pathetic they won't even bother looking at your application bribes. Come back when you have achieved something. The cultures are described in full in Blame Your Culture, but below are summaries for quick generation. So blood rats, in brackets, witches, are exotic rats from the South America who mix orthodox theology with native folk witchcraft. They practice terrible rites and sacrifices which grant them the power to curse enemies, bless allies, and ask for favour of the blood spirits. Corporates are executives. They are sleek corporate rats from North America. They live in skyscrapers and whisper in the ears of lawyers and businessmen. Corpo rats are cowardly and self-absorbed creatures who are expert liars, manipulators, and schemers. Dark rats are nihilists, right? Nihil, I can never say that word. Are large, powerful African rats who frown upon all man-made objects and ideas. Through consistent exercise and a good diet, they perform feats of strength and agility unparalleled in the rodent world. First rats, or fanatics, are deeply religious and extremely militant rats from the Middle East. Maybe need to be a bit careful about that. They act as the spearhead of the Grand Awakening. They are excellent soldiers who know how to operate most weapons and lead others in war and prayer. I think we just need to be a little bit careful about that. A little bit careful. Maybe I wouldn't even say where in the real world they're from. Just could be anyone. Could be a fanatical rat. Gear rats are tinkerers, are engineers and mechanics. Mechanics from the former Soviet Union. I can see where this is all going now. They have a chance for just constructing devices that either solve all your problems or blow you to smithereens. Gur rats are healers. They are the mystical rats from India. They have mastered numerous meditations that allow them to heal mutilations, commune with God, and project their souls into the astral. Again, I think we just need to be a little bit careful about certain stereotypes. Horrats, or spooks, are creepy Central European rats who live in dark places and go bump in the night. These revolting rodents have perfected the dreaming warfare to such a degree that they can now proudly say that even they are afraid of their own shadows. Lol rats, punks, are irreverent and hedonistic rats who spend most of their time trolling humans and other rats online. Because they surf the net so much, they have the best understanding of human online culture and the many ways it can be abused. Right, so here's the thing. That can be from anywhere in the world, whereas all these other ones were like, oh, these are from Central Europe, these are from former Soviet Union. I get rid of that. They're just creepy rats who live in the dark, and they're mystical rats who've mastered the numerous meditations that allow them to heal. Like, we don't need to put that in a particular place in the world. Nezumi are ninjas who are wise and mysterious rats from the Far East. Again, we need to get rid of that sort of. We need to dissociate that. Their research into arcane wisdom and supreme martial arts have granted them superpowers and access to knowledge that will drive lesser rats mad. Well, madder. Pirates, or sea rats, are seafaring rats who live on ships and tiny islands and like to end all sentences with "arr." They hide a terrible secret that grants them the ability to emulate and command the creatures of the sea, but also puts their life at constant risk. Pocket rats, hunters, are Australian rats who specialise in hunting and surviving in extreme conditions. They have silly little pockets on their bellies. They have silly little pockets on their bellies they can store stuff in. It's not a big advantage, but it's something. See, that's quite cute. That's alright. But again, maybe not necessarily that stereotype of like Australia being a dangerous place and people go hunting in it, you know. Ratagan, warlords, is the mighty rodent horde that dominates the vast plains of Central Asia. Warlike and disciplined, the Ratagan are a master tacticians and battlefield commanders that can turn any unruly swarm into a well-oiled machine. Rodent rats, we're not saying that word, absolutely not, are diviners and fortune readers that travel the world in search of ancient secrets, lost treasures, and food. Mostly food, really. Rodent rats are obsessed with freedom and notoriously difficult to negotiate with. Again, we need to be careful with that word particularly. Like, maybe nomads would be better? Scrats are hooligans, so brawny rats from Northern Europe. I thought it was going to say Northern Ireland then. I was like, what? Known for their skill with massive melee weapons and armour. Scrats are very ecologically aware and take great pleasure in chopping up lumberjacks, burning oilmen, and eating campers. I know hooligan is not a great word either. Technorats, brainiacs, are brilliant scientists who augment their minds and bodies with advanced cybernetics. Being atheists, they are resistant to all things supernatural and enjoy God's special favour as he tries very hard to convince them they exist. Underrats are necromancers, are sad, sombre, and dignified North American rats who live in ceremonies, cemeteries, and eat the dead. They use the dark arts to animate corpses, wresting dark secrets from the other side, and enjoy bad poetry by candlelight. Wow. Okay. I don't know about this one. Just reading it there. Union rats, fascists. They are highly disciplined rats from Western Europe. Polite and helpful. They are almost universally hated by all cultures. Union rats are organisers, managers, and troubleshooters of the rat world. I think we just get rid of that word. We don't need it. We certainly don't need that. Like, why do we... It was going so well, wasn't it? We had some interesting things, and they've kind of ruined it a little bit there. Ugh. Yeah, I'd actually... You know what? I wouldn't feel comfortable with that at all. I'd probably get rid of that. I didn't even know what they were. And we have two that have asterisks around them, which they might take a little while to get into because you don't have, they're hard to bribe. So the Institute, Simon Klein, is an elitist, heretical, and atheist organisation that oppresses the teachings on the grounds of being an elitist, heretical, atheist organisation. They have access to amazing psionic and scientific powers, but are universally hated by all other cultures. In the Order, the Inquisitors are an ultra-conservative culture that encompasses chivalric ideals such as wearing heavy armour and burning apostates on marshmallow skewers. The Order encompasses many diverse divisions, all working towards a single purpose: the eradication of heretical, both within and without the rat world. Wait, without the rat world? Probably outside of the rat world, right? Yeah. It was all going so well. This whole bit needs a proper reread, I think, personally. Reread and just copy edit just to get rid of some of the more problematic elements. It's just a bit of a shame. Because you don't need to link it to certain places in Europe or certain stereotypes per se. I think I would definitely get rid of the uni rats. We don't need that. Absolutely do not need that, especially when considering how things are in the world just now. So just like humans, rats are divided into numerous races that differ in cur colour and bone structure. Unlike humans, these races have much deeper differences than mere appearances. In fact, some experts on racism suggest that these races are actually different species. They defend this position more arduously until they encounter an oh, Lord. They defend this position most ardently until they encounter an attractive member of a different race, at which point they exclaim, "Stop the hate, we're all children of the same god." What? Why? Why do we... Ugh. With the exception of Gambians, who are a really different species, all rats are crossbred. Mixed race rats vary in appearance, but always have the ability of brown rats. Why do we have to make it just like, pick your appearance? It doesn't matter. Like, it shouldn't add anything to it. All that stuff should probably come from... All your skills and stuff like that should come from here, and then you can pick the tricks and habitats differently. Brown rats are by far the most common... but always have the ability of brown rats, by far the most common and least appreciated rat race on the planet. So black rats, highborn, are better than other rats, a fact they like to mention at every possible opportunity. Why are they better? Because there are more of them at the top. Why are there more of them at the top? Because they're better. Got complaints about black privilege? Address them to your betters, please. Black rats start with the game with an additional luck trait and the cute trick. Okay. Brown rats are experts in the high arts of not dying, which might explain why there are so many of them. They can eat anything and survive anything except for the things that kill them, which they don't usually survive. According to current estimates, brown rats outnumber all other races combined by nearly 10 to 1. They start with an additional survival trait and the nosy trick. So you don't even pick your trick then. So I'm just going back up and having a look. Yeah, so these come from this whatever race you pick, I guess. Don't think culture gives you anything though. White rats, or freaks, are sickly and strange looking. They despise for assisting humans in military and medical research. They are loathed for being fair of coat and red of eye. They are reviled for being suspected agents of humanity, traitors in camp, and ineffectual intellectuals. Most of all, they are hated for being smart. White rats start the game with an additional cunning trait and a brainy trick. Swamp rats, yahoos, are close cousins to brown rats and are physically indistinguishable from them. They are born hunters with superb senses and killer instincts, often jumping into the fray without a single thought about possible consequences. Those hard rats are perfectly suited to survive in the most extreme conditions. Comfort, however, often kills them. So they start with an additional ferocity trait and the violent trick. Gambian rats, ogres, are unfairly characterized as clumsy and stupid due to their freakish sides and association with the bull-headed dark rat culture. The truth is that they are simply larger rats, nothing more, nothing less. Being so large, however, many of them become bullies simply to satisfy the expectations of their smaller compatriots. They start with 7 bigness traits. And they don't get a trick. Oh, that's a shame. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. What's going on with this? Yeah, crazy. Yeah, exactly. I felt it was alright. And then it sort of had these other bits and pieces where I'm like, no thanks. So I definitely think a bit of a rewrite is needed. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't even give them like a trait per se. I would give them the trick, perhaps. Well, I don't know what tricks we're going to look into in a second, but I feel like, I don't know, it's a little bit ick. There's a bit of an ick going on here, isn't there? After 4 millennia of oppression and persecution, rats developed numerous tricks that gave them a small measure of protection against the tyranny of humans and cruelty of other animals. To an awakened rat, these seem pathetic, avatistic? Even. However, each of these humble tricks is a first step in a glorious teaching path that promises great rewards to anyone who will follow it through. Alas, teachings are too exalted for you runts, so for now you only get to choose one trick. That said, since teachings are right behind the corner, we strongly suggest you skim the Blame Your Teachers chapter to make sure the trick you choose will aim you in the right educational direction. You know what? I'm having a think about this. I think, actually, I would do away with like these two bits. You can be whatever size. Like I feel like these are like suggestions. I'd absolutely do away with like you can be whatever color, whatever kind of rat you want. You want to be a big rat? Excellent. You know, and that should all come into your abilities. You shouldn't. Yeah, I think I do away with that. The different kind. Like I'd just say like what color is your fur? What's your appearance? I wouldn't have it tied to your character, your rat creation sort of thing. Again, we're not going to look at this in too much detail. These sort of things. If it gives you like a not a background like what you were before, perhaps. I know this is going to come into the habitat, but maybe that. But then yeah, remove anything that puts you in the real world. And certainly stereotypes. Maybe I'd even cut them down a little bit as well. So, it's just what a way to ruin a game. So awesome. Trouble. You're too cool for trouble. Put aside 3 dice at the start of each session. You can use this dice for anything. Anything. Your pool of awesome dice is renewed at the start of each session. Brainy. Instead of painfully getting out of trouble, how about using your brain to avoid it altogether? Once per session, you may ask the raconteur if some action will have an immediate negative consequence for you. They are obliged to answer truthfully. That's quite a good one. Cute. Beautiful rats don't have to worry about anything, right? As long as you haven't caused direct damage to a creature, you've never the first rat to be targeted by it. In case of several rats with cute trick, the raconteur targets the rat with the least luck trait. In case of a luck tie, the raconteur chooses the rat played by the player they like least in real life. See, I think, yeah, this should not be tied to your colour fur that you pick. You should just be able to go, I want to pick this one, I want to pick that one. Dreamy, optional. You are trained in the art of lucid dreaming and can do more than scream and whimper when navigating the wilderness of dreaming. So you blame your dreams for more information on this trick and dreaming in general. Nosy. Your superior sense of smell gives you an advance warning of danger and treachery. You can use sense to sniff out dishonesty, hostility, and fear in any mammal. The difficulty depends on the creature's otherness, cleanliness, and cunning. Soulful. Even before your awakening, you felt the presence of God the Rat in your life and put your faith in him. Increase your provenance rating by 1. And this is giving some examples of null and void. Interesting. So again, we've got that. That's quite cool. Actually, you know what's nice as well for this particular one is that you have 2 people so instantly talking about that idea of like, hey, maybe you can create siblings or people that know each other beforehand. So you're not individually... Like, it's not talked about it in this setting about like how do people know each other, but I like the fact that in this example it's giving you 2 different kinds of creatures that maybe you'd come together with. Speedy. Why face problems when you can flee from them? Add 1 die roll to all movements. The Mexican accent is not mandatory but strongly recommended. No, let's not do that, shall we? Let's not feed into that stereotype. Good lord. Toothy. There isn't a problem in the world a pair of strong, sharp incisors can't solve. Add 1 die to all tests that involve biting, both in military and constructive capacity. And violent. You're not in the business for avoiding trouble, you're in the business of starting it. Oh, I'd have that on a t-shirt. Add a die to your violence pool at the start of each combat encounter. These die can accumulate, but their total number cannot exceed your ferocity rating. Violence die can be added to any physical or social test made during combat. So, inhabitants. So, EE spoke to the 700 whelps. The land shaped you in infancy, even as the teacher shaped you in childhood. Learn from it until there is nothing more to learn, and then eat it. And EE saw the hungry glares of the whelps and hastily added, unlike the teacher. So this is habitat. So whilst not as important a culture or race, habitat nevertheless contributes to a rat's identity and skills. Local customs and folklore help shape its personality, whilst the garbage it eats and the kind of refuse it wallows in affect its physical development, and the kinds of poisons and disease and radiation it acquires resistance to. Rats from the same habitat will likely feel kinship and often refer to each other as homies. No, maybe not. As a PC interacting with a homie enjoys a blessing in all social tests. Maybe I think I would actually just pick it into be like brother, sister, like that sort of go back to that sort of religious sort of thing, though, like that rather than yeah. It also feels incredibly old word now. It feels very feels very white coded, doesn't it? Ugh. Conversely, there is undeclared rivalry between country rats and urban rats, resulting in a curse on all social tasks between unfamiliar country and city rats. Again, I don't. Do we need that? Do we need that? Each environment grants an advantage. Usually, an advantage is a bonus die that applies to 2 test types. Note that a bonus die is not the same as a bonus trait. It can't be spent to activate privileges or advantages, but it doesn't count towards your character's caring limit. It's just an additional die you roll whenever you use the test in question. Players should feel free to come up with other ways in which their habitat can help them. So, for example, a rat raised in Copenhagen is likely to understand Danish. A rat raised in a pet store is likely to have an affinity with small animals. A rat that lived in Bedodim camp may know some terrible secret of the desert. It's fun to roll random habitats and deal with the aftermath. I'm a corporate rat from the Arctic wastes. What the hell, man? However, it's not mandatory, and if you want to murder this game and play a boring, sensible character, you may do so. Rat longevity. So rats don't live for long by racist and elite human standards, which is one of the reasons why rats aren't particularly bothered by the prospect of an impending gruesome demise. An ignorant rat is likely to survive for a year in the wild. A 2-year-old feral rat is positively ancient. The situation is slightly better with awakened rats. A rat that looks after itself can expect to live for at least 5 years. The oldest rat in existence is Ee, who was 7 at the time of his departure. For all we know, he might still be alive, wandering the Middle East and planning his next big presentation. Rat life is usually divided into 3 stages. We have whelp, we have mature, and venerable. So whelp is 0 to 1, the worst 6 months of a rat's life. Until the rat is old enough to say, "Please don't eat me," he is viewed as food supply in the case of hunger. Rats are always hungry. And a useful replacement when a nice football isn't around. No. Once a rat can talk, he can also take orders of which he receives plenty. Whelps make excellent living shields, in case you wondered. They are the best poison testers, the best mine detectors, and the best trap diffusers in town. And in brackets, rats don't have towns. A rat stops being considered a whelp as soon as it can utter an enforced statement, "If you touch me one more time, I swear to God the rat, I will murder you in my sleep." He is then lovingly embraced and made a full member of the pack. Whelps cannot have more than 2 traits in any ability or skill and only have 1 trick and gave no privileges from their culture. And so you do get privileges from the cultures. Mature, so 2 to 3 years old. It's the default age for new characters in Rat. It confers neither penalties nor advantages. Unless otherwise stated, all characters are mature. And then Venerable. Rats who have lived for so long are rare and highly venerable. They are elders, theologians, and lumbering monstrosities of species. Venerables lose 1 trait of ferociousness and survival, but gain 2 in cunning and provenance, respectively. Wow. Okay, so here we have the habitat stuff. Okay, interesting. Maybe not have that. Just a couple of things there. Oh, there's there's hashtags here. Interesting. And then we've got human culture as well, and abilities. Oh gosh, look at the time. Okay, we're not going to be able to go through all the abilities and stuff, but we kind of got the idea, I think. Kind of got the idea. Just having a quick look through to see if there's anything else that should come up. Again, we kind of understand it's like a, attribute plus skill, or a stat plus skill, and it's a roll 5 or 6 on the base thing. If it's blessed, 4, 5, and 6. Cursed, it's a 6. I'm just having a look through. See, they've got like tables. They've got like ways to make it sort of bright here. So I don't know why they don't do the same with the tables. They're all stuck on a little bit. Brainy stuff is hard. Wow, look at that. Again, the texture of the paper texture is interesting. I just wish it was a slightly lighter color because it's a little. That is incredibly dense to look at. Look, no. Oh gosh, I don't like that at all. Hardly any gaps. Oof. Oh no. That should definitely be split up into 2 pages. And then instinct. So we didn't even get time to go into that, like the different what providence means or what instinct means. Presumably it's like some sort of ways to re-roll or something like that. I can see here, to gain God's favour through providence, make God laugh, make God proud, make God weep. Interesting. And then caring had something to do as well, but we're just not going to have time for it. And then blame your culture. All right, team, what do we think? What do we make of this? It started so well, didn't it? It really did. I like the idea of like having rats gain sentience and try and take back their stuff. I quite like that. I think clearly there's a whole world of lore that we've barely scratched the surface with. I think the actual mechanic as well, I quite like. Again, straightforward enough. I'm not sure about the bonus and penalty die in addition to Cursed and Blessed, but it's fine. It just makes it a little more crunchy, perhaps. I really don't like the race and culture, the way it was presented. It feels really outdated. And it shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter. And there was definitely some stereotyping in there. So I do feel like did it have like a sensitivity writer as well? Proofreading? No, it just backer content, backer art, proofreading. Yeah, I think if this was to go again, 100% you need to rewrite that initial character generation, because you're getting ability traits or points or whatever separately, and you're really making it customizable, so it shouldn't matter where they're from in terms of their background or anything like that. I also think it lost its humor doing that, because obviously it was very, very funny, and we really liked the tone of it in the beginning. Like, I love the idea of being called the raconteur. I think that's a great shout. I kind of wish the PCs and NPCs were like rats and non-playable rats, so NPRs. And yeah, and it's a shame that we didn't get to look into the other stuff as well, like the vehicle stuff, like idea of driving stuff. Again, it's that sort of thing where we're just glancing the surface of, but instantly, I think due to that character creation, I'm kind of glad that we left that last, because I actually feel really put off by that. I don't know about anyone else. But yeah, I think if I was going to run this, because I want to find out more. I think I'm not been turned off completely, but I have no reason to read that. Certainly this Unirat stuff, I feel like that's not great at all. From literally what it just basically talked about, I'm like, no thanks. This idea of dreaming as well, I wonder what that could be. So I think there is stuff there. But 100%, if I was making a character, I would absolutely chuck the culture stuff out the window. As you know, the race stuff is just going to be your appearance, and you get to do an addition. You can pick whatever your trick is, and you can then assign an extra point somewhere. Like maybe just make it like an extra 2 points somewhere. Either extra 2 points, or you get another trick, or you get an additional 2. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would do. I just don't think it's relevant anymore, that sort of stuff. So yeah, I kind of wish I could see more of their work and see what else, because like this is the only book of theirs that's come out. So if you found this interesting, go. It's not. I was going to put rats. Go have a look at it. It's on Drive for RPG, but I'm intrigued to know more. I think is the politest way of doing it, but that's really bugged me, that character creation stuff. So apologies guys if I've gone really down at the end there, but I'm like, ugh, rubbish. Well, thank you so much guys. Thanks for being back. Thanks for being in the chat as well. I appreciate people chatting with me. Hang on, big Fiona face, so we don't have to look at rats anymore. I'm going to close that tab. Oh, thank goodness. All right, if you're interested, thank you so much as usual. I very much appreciate it. If you want to check out my shows, check out What Am I Rolling, which is a twice monthly tabletop RPG one-shot podcast. As always, we're happy to have you. We look at different RPG systems, a little bit like what we do here, but we actually do some playthroughs of them. We've got some exciting ones coming up. I'm like I said, I did do a recording of Babes in the Wood recently, which was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and again, that was pretty much thanks to reading it through on the Too Long Didn't Read streams, and I was like, that sounds good. So this is a really good way for me to just read about it and go, put that in the maybe pile, you know. If you're like Fiona, all I care about is D&D. Yeah, all right. Check out the DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons & Dragons and discuss how we might include them in our role-playing campaigns. We've just released a second episode talking about Eberron. which I very much enjoyed. Eberron's a really, sorry, latest party. Eberron's a really good setting, guys. I very much enjoyed it. It's not perfect by any means, but if you're looking for something a little bit different, please go check out our Eberron stuff. It's myself and my co-host Hamilton, two non-experts in this sort of D&D lore and stuff like that, just chat about what we like about it and what we would change and all that sort of thing. So go check them out as well. I've not got a command for it, but please, if you're interested in watching me play RPG stuff, oh, I can do Summer of Sci-Fi for sure. If you go check out the Summer of Sci-Fi, that's not how you spell summer, that's not the quote. Oh, Fiona. Summer of Sci-Fi, there we go. You can, if you check out the Rascals sort of thing, you can go and check out stuff. I've done 2 solo plays, one which was live, that was on Tuesday, the VOD for it should be up by now, but if not, it'll be on the Twitch. I also did For Small Creatures Such as We by Anna Blackwell, which is basically like creating your own little, very lo-fi space opera story, very much in this, A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet sort of vibe. So that's on the YouTube now, which I very much enjoyed. Please go appreciate it because the subtitles took me bloody ages. And we've got a panel coming out. This part 2 of Tropes is coming out. I think next Monday. I think unfortunately Darcy's not in the chat, so they can't remind me. So that's going to be exciting. Or maybe it's today. I don't know. I don't remember these things. Sunday 24. Ah, see, you were here. Ah, you have been perceived. Ah, I call your name and you're here. Oh, well, there you go. So Sunday the 25th is the panels for Tropes. Please go check it out. It'll be amazing. It's if you like hearing me waddle on, why don't you come and join me and some other amazing, talented, wonderful RPG people to also waddle on about why we like sci-fi and the tropes and that. I've been here the whole time, about 10 minutes. Well, very much appreciate you being here, Darcy. Very much appreciate it. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, if the final thing was that those people who maybe have heard of RP Geeks, the wonderful show which Emily Bates and Shamini Bundell are running very well. We've just started our D&D series, Once a Hero, which we're going to be running for the next 7 weeks, which I'm very excited about. Basically, imagine what happens after the happily ever after once we've completed the quest, and we're sort of getting the team back together. I'm playing a rogue who has a family now and has to deal with that sort. So the first episode went out yesterday, which was very, very fun. I loved it. It's one of those things where we love other RPGs, but there's like, you can tell, I think we've got a really good cast. We've got an amazing GM run by Zach, and next week we're going to be joined by the wonderful Edward Spence as well. So if you want to check that out, I'll get a blooming thing up here, but like, go check out RP Geeks. It'll be on their YouTube. It's going to be on their all this stuff. But want to check out some D&D stuff and check out how cool rogues are. Which turns out they're really cool. So go check those out as well. I think that is everything off the top of my head, except, oh God, I finally have scheduled some other events. Let me have a look. Yes, so next Tuesday we're going to be looking at another we've got two long didn't read tabletop RPG streams scheduled for next week. We have Outgunned, which is hang on, why don't I read it? It won something. It was on an anything. I can't remember what. So Outgunned is a cinematic action RPG inspired by the classics of the genre, from Die Hard to True Lies, passing through James Bond, Atomic Blonde. Wasn't the best film, Atomic Blonde, I'll be honest. Kingsman. I did enjoy Kingsman. Still, wouldn't watch the last film. Ocean's 11, Hot Fuzz, and John Wick. In Outgunned, players take on the roles of action heroes facing terrible odds. They will be constantly surrounded by enemies whilst trying to carry out their mission, be it robbing a casino or saving the day. So, because that was featured at the Ennies very recently, and that's come up on my number generation, so that's exciting. So we're going to look at that next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, so 11 a.m. Central, 5 p.m. BST. And then on Tuesday we're going to be looking at Cogs, Cakes and Sword Sticks. Yep, that's the one. And its description is cake adventures. So Cogs, Cakes and Sword Sticks is a game of steampunk pulp adventure designed to be played in the comfort of your favourite tea shop with your friends, requiring nothing more than your imagination, a pen, napkins, a sugar cube, should a six-sided die not be readily forthcoming. Again, maybe a good one in terms of in tone. I'll be honest though, I'm not very keen on steampunk. Often it's people just sticking cogs to things. They go, works. Oh dear, oh dear. Anyway, so we've got those next week, which I'm excited about, and also we've got Blood on the Clock Tower and RP Geeks and all that sort of thing. If people are interested in what I'm up to. Oh, and I've also got, sorry, and another thing, I'm also going to be on Science and Sorcery next week, doing a Monster of the Week a one-shot with the wonderful folks there, which I'm very excited about. We did our Session 0 Monday. I've created a great character, as always. But if you want to find out more information or just want to keep up to date with all the stuff, because clearly I can't keep up to date with it, come over and join our Discord. Its popularity over there. I know, I'm like, oh, so many things, so little time. So yeah, come check out the Discord. We'd love to have you here. You know, we appreciate chatting about RPGs and stuff like that, and it encourages us to learn and see what else is out there, and critiquing it rather than criticism. Like, although I will say the criticism of stuff in this book completely bloody valid. But yeah, we'd love to have you over there and just come and have some fun. I think that's it, chaps. I think. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, we'll not be streaming tomorrow again. I've gone down from those 3 streams to 2 streams a week just to make it manageable. But like I said, I might be back some point. For those people who weren't here at the start of the stream, I don't, gifted is not the right word. It appeared in a box with no note. I got these items yesterday, and so I'm thinking about looking at my captain. Maybe I'll do like an overhead thing and we'll go for it, because it is like, I'll quickly show you now. It's like wording, you can't see it, but wording on the front, and there's like cards and stuff that explain the rules. So it might be better to have an overview of that, so that's the plan. Just need to think about when to do it. Maybe I'll do it at the weekend. I have been thinking about doing some more solo streams as a way to create content quickly. But we'll have a go at that. Ooh, words! And then, as I said, I got this book again sent to me, the Dungeon Meister's book of RPGI. You can tell it was a little bit it's crushed in the post. So, but looks like hey, who fancies doing a pub quiz at some point? Maybe we'll do that. Hang on, let me pick one now. Let's do one that's... Oh, hang on, I just saw Alien RPG there. So, the Alien RPG allows players to make characters that are respective of all types of people that were in the Alien movies, including kids. What is not included as one of the signature items you can start the game with as a kid. So we have lunchbox covered with stickers, loose assortment of trading cards, a favourite doll or action figure, or bracelet made by an older sibling. So you see, they're actually blooming hard, these questions. So it's not to anger Night, but absolutely. Yes, no, I agree with that. Oh, if you guessed B, loose assortment of trading cards, you were right. That is not a signature item you can get with that. I actually thought that would be an item there. Very cool. But yeah, maybe we'll have a think about it. Maybe we'll do a collaboration with Euphoria at some point to do like a pub quiz and use this book. Maybe we'll do that, eh? All right, friends. I guessed A. Yeah, I thought lunchbox as well. What? How ridiculously Pacific. Like, why would you be carrying a lunchbox around as your signature item when clearly it's going to be your favourite magic card or Pokemon card, you know? So yeah, so it's going to be incredibly difficult, which is the whole point of a good test, or a good pub quiz, I think. Let's do another one before we leave. Hang on. Hang on. I'm trying to find one that's easy to do. Let's do this one. No, that's no. I've decided not. Sorry, I've now got distracted. Okay, I want to, hang on. So designed and marketed by historical wargaming designer and RPG author Lou Zocchi, the Socini Ball is actually the largest of several non-standard dice of his invention. How many faces does a Zocchini Ball have? I think I have one of those somewhere. So I'm looking at my dice to see if I can see one. So is it 30, 60, 100, or is it 1? It is an actual ball. I think I've got one of those somewhere, Zocchini Ball. I want to say 60s. So I'm going for 60. Yeah, everyone can confirm themselves. I'm absolutely wrong, by the way. It's 100. It's 100. A Zocchini Ball is 100 faces. So there you go. There you go. So we'll try that at some point. Anyway, enough looking at pub quizzes. And we'll be back next Tuesday for our game with Outgunned. Not a game, our stream of Outgunned. That's just a D100. That's why I didn't go for it. Anyway, we can have a wonderful stream doing this at some point and arguing over the answers. I hereby rename the D20 a Darcy Ball. Trademark. Hey, I'm gonna have to owe you so much money, JC Darcy. That's what's gonna happen there. All right, team. We'll love you and leave you. We're gonna see you next Tuesday for another Too Long Didn't Read a tabletop RPG stream of Outgunned. Until next time, take care of yourself, love each other, play more games. It's all part of it. Go check out Euphoria. I know you're streaming just now, Euphoria, so go check out their wonderful streams of stuff. I think it's the Quiet Year, which is very exciting. So go check out their stuff. Go check out my solo plays. Go check out Darcy's solo plays. Just check it all out. It's really good. I'm going to go to the end of stream button. I'm going to go, and then I'm going to go look up all my dicey balls. And I'll see you guys shortly. Bye!